The METHOD Lab. Welcome everybody to the Method Lab, to the METHOD Lab. It's Friday. Friday. What a wonderful week it has been. We've seen anything from cold to warm. How's everybody's headphones?
Snow.
Everybody good?
Good.
All right, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, join us in the messenger. I am about to log in right meow myself. Make sure you go and join us in the chat. We do have a special guest today. We will let him announce himself here in a little bit. But yeah, definitely go to the messenger, follow the link, share, comment. We are live at www.1025mke.com. In case we get dropped, you know how Facebook is. If not, you can follow the link on our Facebook page at 1025mke. The Pulse of the City, go ahead and follow, like the page. We have great content. Check out our website. It has just been redesigned, and it has everything for your listening and viewing needs.
Like and share, everybody.
Yes. Like, share. Call, text 414-502-9447. The line is always open. And yeah, let's get the show on the road.
We want the audience to be just as involved as the guests.
Yes, we want the audience to ask questions and let us know. Let us know what's on your mind.
Well, I think with our special guests, they might have a lot of questions. So
Yes. So the reason I invited Gideon was because I first time I ever was introduced, or we ran by and shook hands, was at a Father's Day car show event. You were there, I think, because you work for the news station.
Yeah.
You were there, and Yusuf introduced us real quick in passing.
Okay.
So, but he you know, I saw you, so I friended you on Facebook that day.
Okay.
And then just seeing your posts and what you work, you know, you do camera for, I think, Channel 4, is it?
Yeah.
Channel 4, photojournalist for Channel 4. You know, that's always been, since I went to school, that was like the job right after school.
Right.
You know,
right.
I went to school in Chicago, and when I came back, it wasn't happening for me. So but still, it's always been a job that intrigued me. You know, so I thought, well, let me follow him. Let me see what his journey looks like.
Okay.
But then I saw that you were really active in the community, you know, and then I saw that you started DJing, and then I started like you just became this active man that just does a little bit of everything, you know. It's almost like Zaire. Zaire does so much throughout his day. I'm like, fuck.
Right.
Like we have the same 24, but yours just seem to go 25. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, that's what's up.
You know,
that's probably why me and Zaire can never connect. Like, because we just always doing something, you know. And it's dope that you can do so much, you know, because that's how, obviously, I do a lot in my field and what I have in front of me. But to see other people that are in the same field or in very similar fields doing their hustle and doing what they do, you know, most people see it as competition, like, oh man, he's got it better, he's doing this, he's doing that, he works for here, he works for that, you know. For me, it's like, wow, that's inspiring. Like, yeah, he's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing, but it's just wonderful for me as a man to see somebody else, you know, living their best life, doing what they want to do, you know, being able to do, instead of just one thing, you're able to do a lot of things, you know. Yeah.
You know, and that's very inspiring. So I wanted to bring you in, you know, not only to get a formal introduction. I figured what's the best way to do it, you know, than here in open dialogue. You know, that way we can get to know each other. That way our fans and the people that are here, you know, can listen in and support a lot of the things that you're doing, you know, because this week the emphasis was, since it's April, it's Autism Awareness Month.
Yes.
So we had a guest, and that's kind of been the conversation that we've been having. You know, a lot of self-reflection, a lot of, you know, what is out there for the community and how we can help. You know, even if it's as something as minuscule as sharing a post or getting, you know, the topic out into the open, you know, because we can't be everywhere. We can't be a part of every single movement that's going on in the city. Yeah. But we can, you know, show support and show love through even, you know, as simple as spreading the word, you know.
Yeah. It's also Earth Month.
Yes,
For the
Earth
Earth
Month.
right.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and
So-
I want to say thank you too, just for having me, and thank
Yeah,
you
yeah.
to the fans for having me. Anything y'all want to ask me, I'm happy to answer.
Yeah, awesome. I think
We got a few people, already.
Gideon,
in,
MP, go. I think that's your lady, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my lady's up
Yeah.
in there. What's up, baby?
Yeah.
Shout out Tasia Red. I see Amy Watkins. What's happening? Y'all
Yes,
share the
yes.
video. Let's
Yes,
get this
share,
video.
share,
Let's get
share
these numbers up. We can kick this off.
So yeah,
Dig deep.
how you been, Chubbs? Or you got any?
Well, when you're explaining like this, that he does so many different things,
Yeah.
that just reminds me of me too, because I have trouble trying to stick. I have trouble trying to stick to one thing if I tried. You know,
Yeah.
I always have to different and
got-
go on different ventures and stuff to keep my I don't know if my motivation going or something. 'Cause when I stick in the one thing, I just kind of after a while I get kind of it's like a little stalemate.
Yeah.
And I gotta get that spark again. And sometimes I just do multiple things at one time so I can just keep on going here. going here.
What's your sign?
Capricorn?
Capricorn. Okay.
See that intrigues me too. The whole sign thing. I'm like, damn, I'm a Leo.
Well, see,
what does that mean?
I'm a Gemini, so that's just how I always worked. Very sporadic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And part of the challenge of being a Gemini is finding balance.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so we take on a lot of things, we do a lot of things, but you're not necessarily happy with it until you find that balance.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so that was always a challenge for me growing up, is like, okay, you're gonna do all these things.
Yeah.
How you gonna find some self-balance?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think I'm in a place now where I'm in my groove. I got the balance, and I've learned to say no. You know,
Okay.
and taking on too many things.
Not
So-
to overextend yourself.
yeah, in some instances, but if I'm passionate about it, if it's in my heart,
Yeah.
we gonna make it happen. If I gotta stay up till 6 in,
Yeah.
working on it, you
That's
know.
awesome.
That's what's up.
I'm in Pisces, so yeah, I know I'm a double sign as well.
Yeah.
I totally struggle with that. We were just talking about it
Yeah,
yesterday. I
I
got
don't know what
like
the hell that
10
means.
different. Well, no, we were
It's
talking
the-
about like how I
the
had.
The two fish, one
Okay.
swimming
Oh,
up,
okay.
one
Yeah.
swimming down.
Yeah.
Very similar to the Gemini in the fact that we deal with this duality or two
Yeah.
personalities.
Huh.
if you
See,
say.
that's interesting. We're gonna have to book somebody to
Talk about
we
that.
don't. Damn, we can't book Walter Mercado anymore.
Oh,
Rest
my
in peace,
goodness,
Walter.
Tito. Yeah, no, I definitely. We were talking about that yesterday. It's like I have like a lot of pans and different fires. You know, this is how I work, and that's I guess how I motivate myself. So that's a good way of thinking about it. I didn't even think about it like that.
Another reason why I invited Gideon is because you had asked me to. Well, when we brought Chubbs in the first time he sat in with us together was to talk about NFTs and cryptocurrencies and stuff like that. I know that's something that's intrigued you. I know that's something that Chubbs is heavy into right now as of recent. And I know you're always posting about
I'm
signing
always
up
trying
for,
to educate people on investments and stocks and crypto. Not too into NFTs yet, but I'm a little familiar with the technology.
So that's I figured it was a good panel. And for me, I learn from you guys because I know the basis of what all that means, but I like just taking the information in to see if it's something that I want to venture in. Because obviously I should, but still just knowing the knowledge of like, damn, I missed that fucking opportunity, but I knew the opportunity that I missed. It wasn't just something that I missed just because I wasn't educated on it,
We're gonna be talking money, y'all. Share the video, share the live.
Yeah, for sure.
How long were you into? You started doing crypto or getting into Bitcoin, all that stuff?
I've been investing since about 2016.
Okay.
So not too long, but
That's kind of like that was around the moment where it almost kind of went away a little bit. Like it had the start, real big jump start, and then it had a little downtime where the people were just holding on, and then it has this boom. And it seems like you're just right there, kind of at the perfect time when everything's just kind of down.
You're absolutely right. Actually, that's a good observation because all the apps that I joined in 2016 had already been there for a while. Yeah. I was one of those people who didn't know much about investing or stocks and never really considered it. I just hustled different ways, and never considered it. Even though I had been to Wall Street and seen all the money that was made out there as a journalist, doing a small piece for the Black Family Channel about minorities on Wall Street. And so I seen it, but it didn't really connect until 2016 when I just really decided to say, let's give it a try. And put forth a little money and start challenging myself to put forth more, and realize like this is really easy, especially with these apps. It's really a personal challenge most people have to get over about where they put their money. You can tell people, yo, why don't you invest $5 a month? It might take them 3 years to start doing that. And you're like, you spend money frivolously all the time. Why not try it?
Exactly.
Right, that Starbucks coffee could definitely go to that little budget.
Them $5 I just spent on 2 tacos, I could have put in.
I was like Uber Eats, and I was spending so much on Uber Eats. I was like, let me just throw this $30 into something where it's gonna at least go up $1 with the rate or something, you know.
And you know that's the step that probably has to happen first when you're talking about financial personal management. Is before you invest in stocks, you have to learn how to manage what you have coming in and coming out money wise. So like what you guys are talking about, mine was Arizona iced teas.
All right.
Which one, the RX?
It didn't matter. They were $1.
Mucho mango.
And you figure you're buying them twice a day. Now you're not only hurting your pockets, but you're hurting your body. You know what I'm saying? So I watched how much money was just going out for frivolous stuff like that. And I use an app also called Mint that I highly recommend for people who are into changing their financial future. It manages all your money, shows you what you're spending, shows you what's going in and out. It has its strengths and weaknesses, but it really helped change my financial trajectory, because I never really looked at money with a fine tooth comb and really go through my own personal finances until about, I would say, you know, I was probably about 24, 25 or something like that at the time.
That's a good time. 24, 25, you're still relative, well, you're young. But, you know, you're in that cusp of, you know, for most people, you're already on your way out of the partying scene and the bar scene and stuff like that. And in that regard of like my priority is to go and get fucked up and have a good time with my friends, you know.
And you talking to a guy that's like still in the nightlife business. This was out till 3 in the morning last night, you know. But in my 20s, I was making good money and also blowing it, and you know, not investing, not saving, just kind of like shoeboxing it, and kind of got serious about 25 or whatever. And then in 2016, I started to invest.
So for those that are out there listening, could you give us a little synopsis of who Gideon is and what he does?
Who's Gideon?
Well, first of all, introduce yourself for real. You know, what you do for the city. Like, you know, just a little bio of yourself.
I appreciate the questions too, because it'll help me dive into all of that. But who is Gideon? Gideon is born in Milwaukee. I'm born from a long line of Milwaukeeans, activists, and educators. My family has over a decade of history in the education system in Milwaukee. You know, that's just like a small piece of what my family has contributed. And then I'm a kid who loves hip hop. So, you know, I started off as a breakdancer when I was a kid on the porch, you know, and moved on to being an artist and a rapper. And then an entrepreneur. Starting a marketing promotion company with my brothers at a young age, barely 17, I think, at the time, and turned it into basically a platform to help other small businesses and artists in Milwaukee professionalize, market themselves. I've been in a video since I was a kid, since I could hold a camera. And so everything from still photography to video, throughout that transition from young guy to adulthood, into, you know, today I work as a photojournalist. And then I still do nightlife promotions, and I'm still engulfed in hip hop in the community. I'm a volunteer currently at True School, which is an organization that teaches young people leadership and entrepreneurship through hip hop. I'm also a member of the Cleanup MKE, which is an organization that works to bring volunteers together to clean up the city. I'm a founder and member of Guns Down Milltown, which is an organization that's, it's a public service campaign to basically change the culture of gun violence in Milwaukee. Among other things.
Wow. That's awesome.
We have a big fashion show coming up next Thursday that I'm helping to coordinate, along with 2 local designers, HT & Co, Rico Legends, and my lady Tasia Red with her company Barbify. It's going to be at Freight next Thursday. I'm a guy who loves the arts.
Yeah.
And I love helping people. I love Milwaukee for its good and bad. And I love bringing people together. So I think when I look back at my biggest strength is probably bringing people together.
Yeah.
You know, I've watched last night some friends of mine, 6 ladies who all came together because of me, and they're all like lifelong friends.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I didn't think it would come to that necessarily. And I think that's probably my superpower.
Nice, nice.
Bringing people together.
You know that when it comes to the show and when we book guests and pretty much the topics that we address it's very in line with that. You know, like you said, we love, or I myself love Milwaukee for the good and the bad. You know, and that's one of the things, and not necessarily lining up the bad and be like, well, look, this is the list of bad. It's just a list of things that you can work towards improving for yourself. You know, because. You know, and that's one of them: communication and networking and being amongst other professionals and other people that are striving to do something. You know, it's just finding a way to bridge that gap. You know, because it's growing up on the south side of Milwaukee. You know, I was blessed to be able to venture into the north side and have my time on the north side. You know, with Larry, which is our co-host. He's not here because he's recovering from surgery, but. You know, that's an experience that I have held dear, you know, because I can navigate the city and be okay wherever I go. But for some people, if you're raised on the south side, that's all you know. Yeah. And anything on the other side of the viaduct, you know, is either foreign or, you know, enemy territory.
Same with growing up on the east side.
Yeah. You know,
and I grew up on the east side, and there's people who never left that area.
Exactly. So, you know, finding people like you know, that is a facilitator, you know, it's intriguing to me, because if I link with you, who knows who I can link with, you know, and vice versa, you know.
I always took the approach that from an entertainment perspective, 20 years ago almost, if you think about it, even today, Milwaukee didn't have much of an industry for artists that were talented. So in order to flourish, we had to create that industry and be a part of the infrastructure, you know. And that's where I met Elazar, a lot of behind the scenes stuff, you know, pulling together events for talented MCs, dancers, artists. We help to create and cultivate that and teach others how to do it as well, if not by example, by grooming them and training them. So that's what we're all about.
One thing that Eleazar is really good at. He's a sensei. Like he won't do the work for you.
He's master splinter.
But he will give you a baggie full of trinkets and say like, that's what you need.
Yeah.
Like you figure it out. If you need help, come find me. But that's all you need.
Yeah.
You know, that's usually how he works.
And that's how hip hop is, man. It's a each one teach one kind of culture, and you know, he embodies that. I embody that. That's what hip hop should be like. That's what you know, True School is about. The organization I represent. We teach young people hip hop. We teach them how to DJ, MC, write music. We give them those tools to explore that creative side or maybe that business side.
In what facility or what?
So True School is located in the lower level of the Grand Avenue Mall.
Oh, okay,
you know, where the Ben Franklin statue is. Under there, there's like...
They got a lot of notoriety in that documentary that came out over the winter. A lot of the segment was based on one of the students that goes through True School.
The Growing Up Milwaukee. And again, I want to say True School's been around for about 16 plus years.
Yeah.
Wow.
And started on the south side, and you know, we accept all young kids of pretty much all ages at this point. I'll throw out the website for the listeners. It's trueschool.org, SKOOL, trueschool.org on all platforms. And it's in the lower level of the Grand, and we give young people that opportunity, you know, to at least to have an option, you know. So if you're into hip hop and you feel like you don't fit in, but you love music or arts or creating or sewing or want to learn things like screen print.
That's pretty darn awesome.
It's a safe place for young people.
And it's so necessary.
Yeah.
In the time that we are and in the culture and the misrepresentation that young people have at this time. Because you think of young people and you think of stolies, you think of crime, you think of fights, you think of, but you never really put the emphasis on those that are looking for a way, like we used to look for a way out, whether it's through finding a job or establishing family or,
I feel it's our job to really create that. And so that's also kind of the basis of the Guns Down Milltown campaign. We want to give young people that campaign, set up the structure and support so that they can take it and make it their own. And so we've made it as a pledge for people to take, and we're not telling people to, throw your guns away. It's more so about keeping our community safe, protecting the elders, not just recklessly shooting, self-defense is fine, but as far as what's going on in our communities is not that. So we want to change that. And so young people have gotten behind it and helped to kind of form it and move it in the next direction. And that's what we want to do is, as an older generation, is give them things that they can latch onto and help push forward and feel good about. For instance, when I was young, we had DARE, Hang Tough. Even though it was kind of corny, it was an option for kids who didn't want to be the drug dealer or, and nowadays, the stripper, the hustler. You know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, you just want to be a normal kid?
Yeah, you want to grow up, have
Check
fun,
this out.
Be safe,
And if we don't create that for these young people, I don't think the government will. I don't think they looking at our young people as future potential assets for this country. It's more like, like you said, they're looking at them like thugs and nuisances, and they want more opportunity, and Milwaukee's a city that's lacking. So I gotta shout out all the organizations that's putting in work. I mean,
go ahead.
What is it? Growing Up Milwaukee really highlighted that. I mean, it was traumatizing for me to come face to face again with what we're going through in this city. I'm sure a lot of people who watched it also felt traumatized because it's real, and it's the young people who are affected the most. Running Rebels, shout out Running Rebels. Victor Barnett over there putting in work with hundreds of young people. Shout out We Got This, Andre Ellis and the We Got This Garden on 9th and Ring. They're going to be out tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. to noon, cleaning up that neighborhood. If you need supplies, go to 9th and Ring. Look for Andre Ellis. Shout out to the Peace Park and Garden on 5th and Locust. They're going to be out in the community working with True School along with HG & Co. And It Takes a Village, an actual organization that's coming all the way from Minnesota to help here clean up in Milwaukee.
Wow.
Because they have some roots in Milwaukee. I'm sure there's more I'm forgetting, but my point was Milwaukee has a lot of people that are reaching back and trying to pull up. We just got to support those and create more. So if you home, you're like, what can I do? The city doesn't do enough. Do your own thing. I hate to, keep talking, but I got to say Guns Down Milltown was created with a smartphone. All right? Those billboards you see, we took those pictures with a smartphone. So the tool you need in order to create change is probably in your pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Especially now with how advanced, technology is.
It's about how you use it. And we created the website on a smartphone. We created the social media links on a smartphone. Of course, we created the email on a smartphone. We get together and chat on a smartphone. Let your phone make you smarter. What I'm saying? Right. Stop being a dummy. And so that's my urgency of now. I don't really. If I have something I want to do and I'm passionate about it, I'm trying to make it happen. Time is very important to me. It's something that I probably put the most emphasis on, and why people see me running around like a chicken sometimes. It's just I'm trying to get as much as I can done, and give back and create opportunity. Because, who knows how long it's going to last. Right. You feel me?
I'm going to put up the flyer for the cleanup here in a bit.
This is my first time meeting you, and I'd like to know, do you have children as well?
I have a beautiful daughter. Her name is Zanaya.
Okay.
She goes to Milwaukee School of Languages.
Okay.
And she'll be 16 next month.
So does she go with you to these things, or does she?
She does at times,
Okay.
you know. But
Yeah,
she's my only kid, and she's a teenager
Okay.
in the realms of 15. So you know that comes with some challenges as well, and personality growth, and her
course.
becoming her own individual self. And I grew up with all boys, so
Okay.
you know, it's like, you know, if the teenager ain't feeling it today, sometimes you guys just gotta let her be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But she grew up in activism, and she grew up in, you know, these, like, she protested for Earth Day and May Day, and she's, you know, she's well engulfed in who her family is and who her father is, and she has her own views about the world, you know, that are like beyond my spectrum. So a lot of times I find myself learning from her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome. Here, we're going to put up the flyer here for the pop-up cleanup. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you have time tomorrow, or if you are not doing anything currently, you know, they are out in the city.
Yeah.
You know, putting in some work.
And the other thing we're trying to encourage is like independent work. So if you can't meet us on 5th and Locust, or you can't meet the group on 9th and Ring, get out there and clean up your front and backyard.
Yeah.
Take initiative. The city has some resources, but you know, if you need more resources like bags, gloves, masks, or pickers, buckets, we can get you some of that stuff as well.
Yeah. I know we did what we usually do for 414 Day, and we try to as much as we can to set up events like this. I know we work a lot with, I manage and work at the Highbury over in Bayview, which is a pub, soccer pub.
Oh, yeah.
And the owner, Joe, is really big into, you know, setting up and supporting cleanups and stuff like that. So, you know, we've done it here as Almil and as a company. We did Mitchell Street a few years ago. And it's something that is special, you know, especially when you do it on your own, you know.
You know, there's a lot of Milwaukee pride,
Yeah.
and you can't deny that. A lot of people care about this city, and that's why when we do these things, people rally behind it, because people care. You know, and we got to start promoting that. We got to start acknowledging that and stop saying, you know, people don't care, because they do. They get out in drones. I had a 80-year-old lady and a 75-year-old neighbor get out for 4 hours and clean up their neighborhood, the alley, and then call me the next day for buckets and pickers. Like, don't tell me people don't care. People care.
People care. You just got to give them that
Tools.
atmosphere and those tools. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, and it only benefits everybody, you know.
Absolutely.
It only benefits everybody to not have to drive down the street and see, you know, a month's worth of people's food garbage.
Right.
You know,
Winter's worth. Forget it. Winter's worth.
Yeah.
We did shout out all the crews. We did a great job all throughout the hood and the community. Like that first, after the snow melted, we planned the first cleanup in 4 days, and we got like so much done, and was able to clean up so much. And the city supported in some ways, but in all honesty, it was a neighbor effort. Yeah. And so, shout out to all the crews that helped clean up and to clean up MKE. And those that are going to be out there tomorrow. And it's not just us, it's organizations all throughout the city that are helping this weekend for Earth Day.
Yeah, I know La Comunidad is doing, Cypher Lady and her organization have been out there doing a lot of work here on the south side as well, with cleanups and getting businesses to contribute as well with, you know, garbage bags and lunch and stuff like that. You know, it's a beautiful thing.
It is, man. I want to see everybody posting those pictures online after you clean up your community too. You know, promote the positive. That's another brand we have, promotethepositive.com. It's all about promoting positivity. Okay. And you might see the stickers around. I'm sure if my brother's been around, he dropped one off here or something. But that's what we about, man. Bringing positive energy to light. You know, positive messaging.
So how does you being a photojournalist help your narrative or the things that you're in? Do you get the liberty to push the light onto what you got going on?
So I'm glad you asked that. So for instance, the day we met, that was an event that wasn't really on the news's radar, at least our stations. And I was aware of it. So I drove by and I just pulled out my camera. And then I sent it back to the news desk and I said, yo, there's this, you know, fresh festival let's get it on the air. Yeah. And, you know, after being there for so long and working in the business, you know, they respect my opinion and it got on the air, you know. And in some cases, you know, they're tapped into the community, but for a person like me who's grown up here and can get almost anywhere in 8 minutes in the city, you know, I've definitely feel like I've helped to contribute to changing the face of what, you know, TMJ4 looks like in a positive way, you know, because I guess while I'm here, that's all I want to do is affect things positively and perfect my craft. I'm a person who, my mom gave me a camera at 8 years old, a still camera. My dad gave me a video camera like 11, 12. And since then, I've always been hopping out with a camera. Most people know me from back in the day, the guy who always had a camera. Even when nobody had cameras, nobody had editing software, I was like on the tip of it all. And to be now somebody who's doing it professionally is just, it's a blessing, you know, because it doesn't feel like work. It's my passion, you know, and that's how it's easy for me to balance a full-time 80-hour every 2-week job and then put the other 120 hours towards what I love to do and still be energized, you know.
That's awesome.
That's very important. Very important.
It's balance, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, and it's like what we were talking about. But I get a chance to contribute, and it feels good. And it's nice to show positive stuff in the community, you know, and change that and have that impact. And even if it's just something small or what seems small as car show, but the fact that, you know, it's big and I know what's going on behind. I know Youssef, I see his journey, his hustle on bringing the community together, on making something positive for Latinos on the South Side every chance he can. Entrepreneurship, like, that's big, you know what I mean? And I want to highlight that, you know, even if it's just popping up for a second and throwing my camera up. You know?
That's really awesome. Yeah, actually, I want to invite him to the show as well because I know he's got a lot to say about, you know, the things that he does in the community and things he puts together as well. So
positive individual.
Definitely.
You know? And so that's what it's about. And you know, in all honesty, I don't know how long I'm gonna be doing TV news. It's rough out there in Milwaukee, you know, and it's not always pretty.
Yeah, it's not always a good story. Well, I was gonna go as far as when we were talking about the kids, you know, how important it is to get that narrative and that story out there because, you know, we have instances like yesterday, we had a young 17-year-old boy, you know, killed at Sherman Park again.
Right in my neighborhood.
You know, and that in itself it's a detriment, you know, because that young man never had a chance to figure it out. You know, and some of us as adults, you know, that are supposed to have it figured out still don't have it figured out or are in the process. Doesn't mean that we're, you know, bad or we're in a bad position or, you know, we don't have the majority of it, but still there's a lot of things that we have to figure out. And a young kid that's 17, you know, they didn't even get to start, you know?
Yeah, no, I always kind of explain it that when I was growing up, you kind of had some choices, and today's choices the kids have, well, like, one of the repercussions is death, and it's like it's not the same as when I was growing up. Even though it was rough, we had gangs, we had all that craziness, we had murders. Now it's just it's a different kind of culture of gun violence, and like you said, too many lives are being taken. And I grew up in that community partially, and I live there now, and you know the fact of the matter is, a lot of us are traumatized. You know what I mean? We carry it every day. We deal with it. Young people traumatized because of what they're going through at home. And so we just got to really reach out and support each other. Go to the young people in your family that you know that have guns and are reckless and talk to them. Pull them aside. All BS aside. I know you're young. I know you want to have fun. But this is the other side of the game. You know what I mean? And if we're not doing that as elders in the community and as adults, then I think we're just going to see more of a spiral. So we responsible as much as these young people. If we have young people in our family that are on the wrong track, posting BS on Facebook, doing these pull-ups on Facebook, you should reach out to them and talk to them and try to slow them down. You know, I think we all got to play a part. I don't know what happened in Sherman Park, but it should never happen, you know? It should never happen. And the sad part is you know, I believe Milwaukee's on that tip of, you know, the iceberg when it comes to boiling over again, you know. I was out there for the Sherman riots, you know. I grew up in that community. We're not too far from that point again. I'm gonna be real about it. People can act like things have changed, but they haven't. And, you know, I don't say it frightens me, it worries me, it concerns me, but I see a little light at the end of the tunnel and some hope through the positive people that are doing something in the community to change things and make Milwaukee a little more beautiful. These murals going up, these entrepreneurs in the community, man, I'm so proud of the entrepreneurs in Milwaukee. There are so many. You know, I feel like we need a Milwaukee Mall just for entrepreneurs, you know, where we can all come and showcase what we got, because there's so many. And that's, I think, in the long term will be the pride of Milwaukee. There's all these independent small businesses who really care about this community. We just got to get out of the gutter. We got to get out of this culture of violence.
At least a discussion, just, you know, everybody together and just discussing what they succeeded in, what they failed in, and what can everybody work together to make everybody succeed, instead of everybody just trying to cut everybody down.
It's like crabs in a bucket vibe.
It's been that way for years.
It's been that way for years. It's still that way. You know,
everybody can eat as long as everybody helps each other out.
And I try to lead by example, teaching people that, like young people that come up with me and want to hustle and want to grind and want to work in the nightlife or do whatever. I just try to show them a little more compassion and unity, so they can see, like, you don't got to compete with this guy, or you don't got to not like him. You can actually work with him, or you can not, but you know, just move in a positive direction, help others, and try to uplift one another. And that's all I've been about with everything I do, with whether it's fashion, music, entertainment, or community stuff.
Well, here on the weekends, we've been having pop-ups. And it's been, like, if I'm not mistaken, mainly like black women-owned businesses, small businesses. And it's really awesome to just see the difference of, you know, different products and different people, different, you know, way of life and how they came up and wherever. So it's really awesome. I mean, and I hope to keep on doing it.
That's what you're doing is changing trajectory. You know, when people feel like they had to be workers all their life, and now they feel like they can create and work for themselves. You know, and depending on what you do with your money, because the next step is also creating financial freedom. And so, you know, running a business is one thing, but a lot of people blow their money, so it's just kind of a phase. But if you use that business to grow and take it to the next level and keep taking it up, you know, now you're building some financial freedom or financial legacy for your family and those after you, you know.
I think the most important thing about all these programs is that you're giving kids, you're helping them develop a solid foundation, a solid moral foundation. So you can start in music, you can go to a true school and just play, you know, try to make music and stuff, but you can still learn the disciplines of life through that,
and find yourself
and build a solid foundation. So it doesn't matter where you go to after that. You know, you don't have to feel bad about switching genres or switching lifestyles or something like that. If you have a solid foundation based in something, you're gonna succeed, and you can build on top of it.
Well, and that's the thing, like, and that goes for young people, but adults as well, because it's never too late.
No.
You want to be a photojournalist? Get a reel together. Send it over to Fox. It took me a year to get an interview, but I applied 3 times. I always tell people, you should apply to your dream job at least once a year. Otherwise, what are you doing? You're just dreaming. I don't even care if you got the credentials or not. Apply. If you get that chance to get an interview and you knock them off, you knock the socks off. I didn't have the credentials to be a photojournalist, you know, totally. I went to college, but I didn't have all the credentials, you know what I mean, that some other people have, but I had that opportunity and I kept bucking at it, and it opened up. Like they say, Colonel Sanders started KFC, like something crazy, right? Like, it's never too late to be young again, you know, and explore those passions. And as young people, I want to encourage them to keep their mind open for those opportunities to find themselves. Because if you do have a talent or interest or a passion or something that you're thinking about every night, but you're afraid to pursue it because of whatever, you know, on the other side of fear is usually your greatest opportunities.
Right.
You know?
I think a lot of parents try to teach that to their kids through sports, but just some kids don't connect through sports and stuff like that. But they gotta learn those life lessons without,
And that might be all that's left for them now in the school system is sports, because they're taking out a lot of the arts and creative stuff. So
when I was in 8th grade, I was devastated when they took away my art class, and I got an award in my 8th grade for just being the only person that still drew by himself, and so I got an art award because we didn't have an art class. So it was like, we'll just give it to the kid that draws the most.
The kid that didn't let go. I mean, so we just got to create those things, I think, more than ever for young people, and truly exhaust ourselves to make it happen. Like, and stop making excuses, and stop waiting. About 5 years ago, I was in a pretty rough car accident. I was hit by one of these kids in a Stoli.
Okay.
They almost killed me and 5 friends.
Wow.
Knocked me unconscious. One of my friends had to be resuscitated at the scene.
Wow.
Thank God she healed. My girlfriend was in the passenger seat, totaled my car, almost killed us. 17-year-old girl.
Wow.
At that time, I felt like I was pretty focused and pretty solid, but after, it really opened my eyes to the value of time, and also the importance of being very, I guess, conscious of how fast it goes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Selective. So that, selective, and just trying to encourage people to stop bullshitting.
Yeah.
Because it can be taken from you very fast.
Yeah.
And some things you aren't in control of, and I think our purpose is to find a way to help others.
Yeah.
A way to leave some sort of legacy and help other people.
Yeah. But I was saying, so I'm originally from the north side of Chicago, and I moved away from Chicago, and I got away from the naysayers. I got away from the people that it's a big town with small minds. I don't know how that worked out. So I feel like sometimes people children, even adults, we have dreams, we have ideas, we have goals, but you can't always get to them or whatever, because there's people around you that are like, you can't do that. You can't do that. There's no way.
Your biggest haters are going to be your family.
Right. Yeah. Ain't that something?
But you know what? That's why I always tell people as well is, don't talk about it until you can actually show them you're doing it. For example, a model who might be from the hood but really wants to model, during that process, everyone's going to tell you shouldn't do it. You're wasting your time. You're this, you're that. You're this, you're that. You're going to fall into this. You're going to fall into that. But if you tell them when they see you on that billboard or in that magazine, you're going to get a better response. This is a town of a lot of, I wouldn't say hate, but a lot of negativity. Because we all, again, traumatized. Skepticism and, doubts, and because we've all seen it. And let's not neglect the fact this is a very poverty-stricken city in the terms of America. And so we deal with poverty every day. We all grew up with poverty in one way or another. If you came from this inner city, it's like, so we carry this, and we all trying to get out. And it's, this hustler mentality, which is like, really based in capitalism and the capitalist structure we always taught. This is nothing different from what goes on in corporate America. It's like, step on who you got to get up. But in the middle, it's a bunch of people who really, I think, care about the city and each other.
And I think, like, something going back to what you said at the beginning of the conversation, as you progress and as you try to make that climb and find that avenue or that lane for yourself, you also have to deal with the trauma. Because if you leave the trauma unattended, it's always going to be a hinder. It's always going to be a hindrance, and Eleazar says it best, stay the fuck out of your own way. If you don't address the trauma, that's always going to be in your way, because the way you interact with people, the way you perceive people, the way you perceive the hustle is impaired, because you always think of somebody that's across from you as your adversary, as your competition. As that one reason you're not going to make it, so you got to destroy them, you got to move them out the way. And in reality most of the time is just a conversation of coming to a common ground, a common understanding, because some people you ain't going to fuck with. That's life. Some people you, as much as you want to, however you try to parlay it, it's just never going to work. But sometimes there's just that misunderstanding, that simple sidestep of thought that can get you on a right road.
And a lot of assumptions. I think people make a lot of assumptions about other people. And it's like, you got to give people the benefit of the doubt sometimes. And, you know, I always don't assume things about people because I don't like getting disappointed, or I don't like having a lot of expectations because I don't like being disappointed. But I'll trust just about anybody a chance to kind of show me who you are. And I think it's I don't know from a woman's perspective, but from a male's perspective, there's this like, I got to do it on my own vibe. I don't want to work with this guy because I'm trying to do it on my own. So I see it little by little breaking down in the men in the industry that are like trying to work together more and finding a common ground. It's the ego, yeah. So if you can get past that, I think opportunity's there for you. Like it's there. But then we also got to respect the grounds of business and relationships as well. You know, so. I got some great relationships. I got a great team. We just built a whole new team in a past few months for this fashion show I'm doing. Designers, models. It's going to be fun. And I haven't been in the fashion business in a few years, and so it's nice to get back into it and explore what's going on here in Milwaukee. It's called the Eclectic Fashion Show. I got you guys some tickets, actually.
Awesome.
Free
It
tickets.
sounds exciting.
I'll give it to you now before I forget.
All right.
Gideon forgets.
Thank you.
Take one, pass it around.
Yeah.
We're selling the tickets online on the Facebook event page, and they're also available in person. The show starts at 9:30. It's at Freight 38.
Wow.
It's going to be urban fashion along with some entertainment, as well as an after set. I'll be DJing, so all in the same place. And it's only $10, so...
838 South 1st Street.
Yes. Shouts out to Steven out there over there at Freight.
Oh yeah, big shout out Steven and Adam.
So what you were saying, and I'm going to tell you because I'll reiterate it, and I'm sure you know this. I mean, you have a girlfriend, but you know this. Women right now are very much about, I got this by myself, I did this by myself, blah, 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 blah. So, you know what? Sometimes we hinder ourselves in that thinking as well. You know, it's not ego so much as everybody around you is like, you know, well, the stereotype. Well, the stereotype of a woman always needs a man for this, that, and the other, you know, or, you know, you got kids and then you're going to bring somebody in your life just so they can take care of kids. So a lot of women choose to do things by themselves. But, I mean, there is a time for needing that help. And especially if you're doing like you're doing your own kind of like business and things like that, you know, sometimes we do just have to say, hey, can you please help me? Or can we slow this down so you can help me enough to do this?
And it goes back to like, one thing I always say, and I keep saying things I say, but one thing I always say is, if you think that you got it on your own or did it on your own, you're probably lost. Because none of us got it on our own and did it on our own. We all had some help along the way. And if you forget that help you had in any minute way, you probably lost. And you thinking you did it on your own, but there's some shoulder you had to stand on. And, you know, I see the women, and I think it is more so you guys deal with the pressures of the beauty standard that we don't. You know, as a dad, I see it, you know, where my daughter is having to deal with things that I don't because of this standard society puts on women and beauty and expectations and gender roles. And it's like, these things I don't have to think about necessarily because, and I have them in my own way, but I think it's more pressure for young women and young girls. And so there's might be where that need for validation comes from. I'm not ever going to try to speak for women, but I feel like, you know, men got to understand and respect the fact that y'all deal with a whole lot we don't have to.
It's like you have to be two different people. You have to be a woman, plus you have to all of a sudden you have to be just as strong-willed as they would say what a man is when you have to get everything in your life together and organize. So, and then plus at the end of the day, still be that woman that
the nurturer,
the nurturer and the
caregiver. Like you said, gender roles, you know, which I think, you know, right now in our generation is so crazy to me, but I'm actually loving this.
Me too.
Gender roles are so just everywhere.
Yeah, they breaking all the rules.
It's everywhere.
I love it.
It isn't just mom staying at home with kids now. It's dad staying at home or whoever to take care of the kids, you know, and cook and clean and whatever.
My daughter has a pure understanding of how the world should be, and she explained it to me, and I would love to live in it. It sounds like a place where people aren't judged, and it's just like, it really blew my mind because I had never thought about, you know, young kids addressing each other not the way we normally do. You know, it's just like, And they really got this down to a science. Like, kids know how the world should be. They're watching us fuck up. They've seen our fuck ups. Yeah. And they're like, y'all tripping.
Why do you want us to do the exact same thing the exact same way?
Y'all tripped over color. Y'all tripped over race. Y'all tripped over sexuality. Y'all,
just all traditional, just all social standards and
now their thing is they don't want none of it. Yeah. They want to be this over here.
You know what? I think every generation actually does that too, because I saw like my parents and I was like, okay, I love them, but I'm not going to be like them. I'm just going to move forward and do the best that I can. And it just keeps me rolling.
Which, like you said, gives me hope too for the future, because if they have anything to do with it, like my niece and my daughter, it's going to be a great world.
Yeah.
And shout out to the women, because they've been kicking ass for the last few years, just in general, but, and they inspire my niece and daughter to do more. But if they have anything to do with it, I'm looking forward to the future, because it's going to be a good place. It's going to be a place where all these old racists and they die out.
Yeah. They die out, and it's a change of mind.
Die off.
Right? Oh, wait, that's the last one. Right. All right, let's celebrate. On to the next one.
That's what we were saying yesterday. Is about like cutting the chain and the old narrative that you had in your life. You might have grown up with, a grandpa that was like straight up racist, and then your dad was kind of there, and then you were like, hell no. I'm not going to bring that. I'm not going to perpetrate that forward. So.
Yes, and it's a great world, I think, because my daughter speaks Japanese, Spanish, loves Korean hip hop. Not even really into American hip hop, and I guess you can thank the internet for a lot of that, because it's exposed. It's exposure to the world and all the good and sometimes bad. But all I had when I was growing up was a scratch pad, with Eleazar and Doc B. That was my touch in the world and the culture. Yeah. And then, I always had an open mind, so I've traveled a lot. I've been to Cuba, I've been to Peru, I've been to Jamaica, I've been all over the States, and I've always kept an open mind and tried to travel.
And that's vital. It's vital. I've been somebody that hasn't really traveled in my life, and like you said, that those experiences and how kids are now is like they have so much information coming in, as opposed to what we had at our disposal. Yeah. Unless you were somebody that had that life experience, that had older cousins, older siblings, a big family, where you can go from house to house and really get to experience different things. You're usually us, the older, millennials, or however you want to
Gen Zs, Gen X,
whatever you want to put us in, kids nowadays are so accelerated, even with travel, with things like that. It just broadens your horizon, your ability to be like, well, my block is this way, but I just watched a video from Japan and it's completely different over there. Right. So now I want to know what they do over there, and now they throw themselves into what that culture is, and that in itself just changes their brainwaves to a completely different path, And that's very, very vital. And it was something, for the youth, it's very important that we see that. Yeah. And we nurture that. And
it's exposure. I mean, even when you think about in your own neighborhood, people, how they look at their neighborhood. We do some beautification projects where we've turned empty lots into beautiful places where neighbors can pick edible foods like tomatoes, strawberries, apple orchards. And so as a young kid growing up, you think about this just like a lot to run around and play in. But then when you teach a young kid how to plant a seed and grow fruit or vegetable, then take it home and eat it, you've almost like changed that experience. It's like going out of the country, because now you've shown them the possibilities and the cycle, and you've given them a tool, and now they want to be an agricultural scientist, or or they want to be a farmer, or they want to be a community organizer,
or they don't want the hot Cheetos anymore, and they'd rather take an apple or an orange.
Absolutely. And they thinking about where that wrapper goes for that hot Cheeto, because they know now that Milwaukee's just not a city, but it's surrounded by some of the greatest lakes. And this, you educating people on value in the land and community.
One of the previously
your surroundings.
Yeah, and we have one of the oldest, most decorated park systems, you know, in the Midwest.
Yeah.
You know, so that
value, man, and educating young people, because if we all know this, it's cool, great. But if young people don't know this stuff, then it's like, you know, if we're not transmitting all of our good values and knowledge to them, then we're gonna miss that chance, that opportunity to really keep the baton going and keep things, you know, positive. So I think all of us got to challenge ourselves on how we can give back, how we can program a few young people to keep things going.
Yeah. At least just one. You just try to help one.
Yeah.
And then it'll move forward around them.
Right. Yeah. Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
I agree.
So let me see here. Fury Nova 029 on Twitch asks Gid about verbal combat.
Oh, okay. All right. Verbal combat was an original MC battle series that we did, I would like to say, in the late 80s. Close to like, no, let me not trip. I would say 90s, early 90s, okay? On the east side, Milwaukee, Center and Holton.
Okay.
And we would organize MC battles. And thankfully, my mom, who owned a nightclub, would let us come in Saturday mornings, take out all the liquor, put it in the basement, and have teen parties. And we would have teen hip-hop parties at like 10 a.m. on a Saturday, and be lines outside of people. Teens, 10 a.m. on a Saturday for a hip-hop battle. Wow. And not only did we do hip-hop battles, we did dance battles. But verbal combat was like the reason to come, because the MCs got the battle. And it was like 8 Mile. I felt salty later in life when they made the movie. I was like, we did that already. We did that. We made the movie. We did it.
Cut me my check.
Yeah, we brought kids together. We battled. We had fun. It was positive, and it went on for years. We also moved to the Sweet Black Coffee. It was a staple in Milwaukee hip hop. Some of the greatest MCs in Milwaukee hip hop battle, and you know, some of the guys who came to the scene, like, you know, Cuckoo Cal, Do It to Death. And then a bunch of cats I don't remember, I'm not trying to name right now, they came through there, and they didn't battle, they watched the battles, and they was like, these 13-year-old kids are doing this in a bar? Like, these are kids, how they... And they're adults, and they would come to our battles, and it was like, you know, just setting the foundation and providing something for Milwaukee hip-hop at an early age, and we used to charge like $2 a head. And realize how, you know, financial lucrative it could be, because now I could go get the speakers I wanted for my little shitty turntable, and you know. And so it was an early step in entrepreneur stage for us, but it was a way for us to give Milwaukee back. And Verbal Combat's coming back. That's the new announcement I want to say. Verbal Combat's coming back.
There we go.
We're about to bring the MC battles back. And we're just looking for a venue that's going to allow us to come in and do something creative. So if there's any venues out there that wants to bring hip-hop to the big stage, let us know. And we just want to do it in a really dope way, bring it dance, art, and lyricism to the front stage. So
that's what's up. Do it outside.
It might have to be. Holla at me, Summerfest. But it might have to be, because I think the crowd is going to get really big, and we want to respect people's safety and all that. So.
And then also other people can see from far, and then just join the crowd.
Right, and then
the crowd grow.
All ages kind of vibe.
And it's needed, you know, ever since like Jam for Peace and like those type of events that were staples in that progress, you know, in pretty much advertising that peace. Even though the events weren't always the most peaceful events, but that was the consensus and the reason why you know, something like that was put together.
The other variable for me is that battle rap culture has changed. Since we used to do battles. When we did battles, the DJ threw on the beat and you rapped. You didn't have to, you couldn't ask for no, you know, and it, you know, maybe you acapella here or there, but it was like a lot of lyricism, a lot of flows. And I like the new battle rap culture. I like the way it flows. It's more like Socrates and you know, like it's like it's like it's next level. It's like back in the day, this is probably how they used to battle, you know, but so we probably have to adjust a little bit, you know, but you know, I don't know who's on the scene as much in the new battle rap culture. I know a few heads. Shout out King Kamanzi. He's always putting in work, traveling and battling.
I'm sure if he will pop up out of nowhere.
Put a price on it. Come get it. kind of deal. But I want to respect of the new level of how they doing things now too, because it's just it's a little different, and it's dope too, because now they've turned it into a big business. Battling is like pay-per-view views now, so we're just trying to see how to approach it as smart as possible in a balanced way, where we don't take on more than we could chew. But it's coming real soon.
Well, we ourselves we did a Noche de Jangueo with Almil TV, so we're trying to develop something that in the Latin aspect of it, because that is our field. We like you said, if the platform is not there, it's upon us to create it. I think that's a good chunk of what we do here at Almil is we're looking at the platforms and the scenes and what it's lacking on the Latin side and developing that.
Dope.
And we did Noche de Jangueo 2 weeks ago here, where we had a concert pretty much here.
Dope.
With reggaetoneros and Spanish hip hop artists, and we're already scheduled to do our second one. But with the second one, we're gonna do a Jangueo cipher, which is going to be, a lot of artists and different types of music to come in and do, freestyles, video format freestyles. Almost like, what is it? Double XL does the top 10. The freshman class.
Okay.
Something in that aspect to where, somebody's DJ and then everybody gets their turn at, doing something like that. Maybe there's something that we can work together.
I'm with it.
We obviously have the. Maybe it's not the biggest venue, but it's a place we can start.
Hell yeah! I ain't slide in. I'm part Mexican.
Yeah. Okay.
My daddy Mexican.
Okay.
So it's in my blood.
Yeah.
And I'm with it. So that sounds dope. And I'm glad y'all putting on for that market and that group that needs it. Like, it's talent, and the not only Latinos but the South Side period has been a part of hip hop culture in Milwaukee since the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to deny that would be like denying the facts, the truth. Like,
and the big component for me is that, like I said, I ventured into the north side. I grew up a good portion of my life over on that side of town too. Is that I don't want our Latin culture or our Latin experience to fall behind.
Yeah.
We're already in Milwaukee, which is
hidden,
a very...
it's not necessarily going to fall behind, but not so much be hidden. We want to expose it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We want people to see it.
Yeah, like
be a part of it.
Like me and Roxy were talking about yesterday, I'm a great fan of the Black excellence movement, and I'm also a great fan of starting something like that in our city for us as Latinos. Not necessarily that you are doing it, but we want to do it too. More like it's necessary.
It's needed.
It's necessary for our Hispanic.
I just can't wait till the time comes when we just fucking all get it together and unite. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, at some point, I think we are united, but there's too much division. Like, and the fact of the matter is like we all in this together. And me being a person of mixed blood, I've seen it all my life.
Yeah,
I've seen it all my life, and I'm like,
people just become tribal in whatever situation
exactly,
they are.
Exactly.
You can be all in the same race, and then all of a sudden you find a reason to take yourself, differentiate yourself. Just because you guys like different things.
The other thing with the assumption is that people just see you and you are like Black presenting,
right?
So nobody would think Latino,
right.
So right away, you just think, oh,
until they come to Freight on Saturday and see me on the floor. He got something. He got something.
Oh my God! So I have another question for you. In those times that you guys were doing your battles in that time, were you taking pictures? Were you any kind of you got to share that stuff and show like the history of our communities.
When I change my name from Get Money, it's gonna be Get Archives because I got a lot, and some of it I've shared sporadically. But yes, I have it, and I have the equipment to digitize it. A lot of it's digitized. Okay. I'm really looking forward to that chapter where I can share a lot of those jewels.
Make a book.
God bless. Well, most of it's visual, most of it's video, and some of it's photo, but most of it is video. Okay. And you're right. And the fact of the matter is some of those people aren't here anymore. And so to like pass on that legacy to their family and friends is going to be special. Yeah.
That'll be something great to see right before you start the new one. You just kind of make maybe just some little mini documentary or something, just explaining the history of it. Yeah. And just put it out there, and then and then advertising the new one.
Yeah.
People get the history.
Yeah, most def, man. It's all there, and there's actually been some talks behind the scenes with some pretty influential people in the Milwaukee hip hop scene about a Milwaukee hip hop documentary.
Oh, nice.
And a lot of them have been coming to me with ideas and things. So I'm hoping that it might just happen, because there's a story to tell, and it is long overdue. I'm the guy who doesn't want to make it because I know somebody's gonna get mad that we left him out. Congratulations to the new generation, because then stories continue to be told, and they're doing some great things, I think, in the industry, and Milwaukee's finally at least being seen a little more. Yeah. I won't say on the map, because we've been on the map, Shout out King Kamanzi again, the Kali Tribe. It was one of the first Milwaukee hip-hop crews to have a video on BET and an actual CD, actual record and a project. And, they set the wave for a lot of other guys, Eye to Eye Record, The Boot Camp, Taste MCs. I be naming for days, but, they've been doing it professionally for years in Milwaukee. Milwaukee's got a huge music culture, so we can't act like it's brand new, but it's it's elevating, and that's what I'm proud of.
And also, we need the help to teach those up and coming artists to hold responsibility for what they are. Yeah. They are local celebrities. They are people that kids look up to. Last night we had Aka here for the Baby Ranks event at VIP, but he brought Chicken P with him. So Chicken P was in here, and the kids. I text my kid, hey, we had this guy named Chicken P. I really don't know who he is. I know that he's hot. Like
he grew up in my neighborhood.
Yeah, he's hot and whatnot. So, he was like, oh my God, he's one of my favorite. I was like, oh, okay, great. He means that to you.
He means a lot to these
kids. There's an influence, and having
big influence,
and seeing that, someone like yourself, someone like Elizar, that have been riding the waves of music in Milwaukee for many, many years, to hold those up and comers accountable to what the responsibility is, because it's a responsibility.
I think so, and they got to make that individual choice to be that. But you're right. I've worked with kids, and I used to be a computer teacher at one of these community centers, COA on the east side.
Okay. I used to go to COA.
You used to go to COA? Yeah. I was a COA kid too. Yeah. And one of these artists like Chicken P or Eastside L Bug drop a new song, and all the kids rush to the lab to hear it. And I realized at that point that, you guys got just as much, if not more, influence than some of these other celebrities. Yeah. And the fact that you grew up in their block means a lot. And so I see it little by little, these artists taking opportunities to give back or doing like book bag drives and things like that. So I want to salute them, but also challenge them, like you said as well, to use that influence for positive and try to give back to the community and pull some of these young people up and let them know, let's get money. Let's stop killing. Put the guns down. If any of you guys listening out there want to put on a Guns Down t-shirt, hit me up. I'll come by, take a picture. You can post it on your social media kind of deal. That's what this is all about. It's like changing the minds, showing people that we over the gun violence. Yeah. Nobody needs it no more.
This shit's not cool no more.
It's not. It's foolish. And everybody who's been miseducated thinking that, you know what you're doing with your gun, and it's just... put it away. Another thing I always say, a lot of times it's the gun holder who's the biggest threat to the group. So the person in your circle that comes in who always thinks he needs his gun, and you're around a bunch of friends who none of them are armed. No. So now you the threat. You think you're protecting them, but there is no threat. No. But you might drop your gun or something might happen. Now you're the threat. So think about that. Put your gun in a safe place, put a lock on it. And when you don't need it, you don't need it. You know what I'm saying? So just, and if we all start to change the culture of gun violence in the city, then we all won't need it.
And it boils down to the code. You have to have a code.
Yeah.
And regardless what field you navigate in, whether it's a job, the code is I'm gonna show up on time. I'm gonna come back on time for breaks.
The code regarding guns was you didn't see them until they needed to be used.
Exactly.
You never saw them. There was no pulling it out. There was no hanging it out. There was no just sitting it out on the table.
That's why people have them, though. That's why people have them. People are just trying to show up.
Yeah, there was no hanging it out of your pocket. You didn't see it.
You didn't know I had until I had to get rid of it.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying, the miseducation of gun ownership, we also have to hold accountable. Yeah. And I think a lot of these concealed carry classes are to blame because they're going after the money and rushing through these classes and just telling people a script to say if you shoot someone and not really explaining the intricacies or the delicacies of owning a gun, and then forget them. We just got to stay on top of our own in our community and teach our kids about
what I say call survival at this point.
Yeah.
We got to teach them how to survive. You know, same example of, you know, the gun violence against police, not against police, the violence perpetuated by police. We have to teach our young people how to behave in these situations and stop telling them, oh, they can't do that to you.
Yeah.
Because they can, clearly. Yeah. So the conversation needs to be about how to survive these situations, not about what they can and can't do to you, because we seen they can do whatever the hell they want, and 9 times out of 10 get away with it.
Recite this quote, you know, oh, well, you can't touch me. You can't.
You don't have to get out of the car. You don't have to roll down your window. Okay, but they're gonna bust the window and drag you out.
Yeah.
You know, so how do you survive this situation? You got drugs on you. You don't have to let them search your car. Okay, you got drugs on you. Maybe you caught, and you need to just accept your fate, and not try to run from the cops. Because when you do, now that moving vehicle is considered a deadly weapon. Yeah. You know, so think about things first. You know, so our job as adults has to be to educate these young people on how to navigate through these survival moments. Because again, the wrong choice can get you killed. Yeah. For example, Corey Stingley. I don't know if y'all remember the kid in West Dallas who decided to
at the liquor store
steal some liquor, but at the last minute decided to put it back. He decided to put it back, and the owner still held him, choked him to death. Said he was holding him for police and choked him to death. Yeah. You know, so that choice, we all stole something when we were kids. Yeah. I stole some baseball cards from Walgreens.
I stole the bouncy ball, and my mom made me take it back. Oh, to this day, I feel embarrassed. You feel it.
But you had that experience, and now that experience is costing our kids their lives. Yeah, that's the awakening, you know, because you know it's a different world to navigate.
Well, we were talking about this I think yesterday, day before. Is like, you know, I think it was yesterday. People right now are in the. Ooh.
No, we got a call.
You got a caller?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I want to know what you were gonna say, though. I want to know what you were gonna say.
Everybody.
Oh no, I think that's. Oh no, that was Eleazar was getting a Facebook call, and he's logged in over here.
His mom.
It's okay.
There we go. All right, go ahead at the tab.
Good grief! Well, everybody has that quick, get quick rich scheme going on. So you're stealing cars. You go have your little job, and then you come back and you wear like the flyest clothes. That doesn't make you rich. I mean, even stealing a car, that's a one-time thing, and you could be running people over, you could be doing other things, and we want to see the wealth in us. Every kids want to run around, even I want to run around in pretty clothes and whatever.
The reality is we're all insecure.
Yeah.
With who we are and what we are. And so we do these things to make ourselves feel better. Attention. Or to get a little self-esteem. And now it's even worse with the social media because of that response you get from a post, and that feeling. We all know when we post something and it goes a little viral, we feel good. It's a feeling. If you denying that, you're a liar. Yeah. We all have felt that. Like,
that's why I'm up till 2:00 on TikTok watching videos.
Should I post another? Should I post another, or should I let that one just keep going viral? Right? And so it's doing something to us physically, chemically. I think we don't quite understand yet, and it's definitely doing something to our children that we don't understand yet. Yeah. And so,
there's positives where you can connect to someone on the other side of the planet, and at the same time you can also see all the horrible things that are going on over there, and it could really depress you.
Absolutely.
You have to use that information as a positive. It's all about the energy. It's at the end of the day, it's all the energy you take in and you put out. So,
can I ask how old you are?
31.
Okay, so I think your generation is mostly going to be responsible for teaching these young people how to navigate, because your generation is like experts at this shit. Yeah. And I'm good at it because I watched it come in, but you grew up with it and your generation is great at it. Yeah. I know a couple guys that I work with that are your age, and they are freaking like, social media was made for them. Yeah. Their life is it. And the way it is a part of their life and engulfed in their life, and a part of them is like a right arm. It's connected. And so, like, what you just said is what I've seen my daughter deal with when she sees what's going on in Korea, and she's sad all day. And I'm like, honey, what's wrong? and she explains to me a world issue that's affecting her dearly. And it's like, I didn't have to deal with that necessarily. And her concerns are valid because I teach her to be a human who cares about others. So I can't deny that feeling, but also I have to nurture and care for it because it could be dangerous. You know, it could really affect a person's mind until you get out there and realize, this is a bigger world than we thought. Like, you know.
Well, that, you know what, and that comes with like, and was bananas to me, was when a lot of white children were going to the Middle East to become like ISIS and stuff because they felt so strongly about their views. But there's so much here to feel strong about. There's so much here that we could deal with that you don't have to radicalize yourself in that point. And then, I don't know if you guys seen that on the news, two or three girls were like, we want to come back home. We didn't think it was going to be like this.
Well, that's how you know that it's attention. And there's just people that get points in their lives where they don't know what to do. They want to lash out somehow. They want an attention somehow. They want to be a part of a group. It's tribalism. It's just, they want to be a part of something, and something that that would accepts anybody. It's super easy to be evil, or it's super easy to criticize.
And even translating into the streets where kids are joining gangs for acceptance and a little, family, or just
and it's
clout.
Like we were talking about it yesterday on the morning show with OG and Burnham. Even the gang life ain't the same anymore. Like, growing up in their era when it became part of gang life, there was a structure. There was a code, a rule. You approach a meeting in a certain way. There's things that'll get you, in bad situations right off the bat. Like now it's like, okay, we're in a gang, but if I have to turn my back on you, it's me or you. It's always going to be me.
Now it's a lot of like imitating the cartels and that culture of like just mob mentality.
Originally, gangs were made. When you look at the history of certain gangs, they're all made because they're different races or different people trying to help each other and trying to form a
better the community.
And just those things, people's minds, the way people greed, money, or power just corrupts people's minds and turn it into what it is today. But it all started off with people trying to be positive, trying to help the community. It's just about where you take that energy.
Man, if that's the gang, man, let's make a gang about helping our community.
That's what it is.
At least that one.
I got a couple of those for real, and that's what it is. Really, real talk. I mean, it is. That's what it is. That's our job. I think being here while we're here is to find a way to give back and pull people together for some positive energy. That's what I live by.
That's again, that's why I wanted to invite you, because you have to, I always say, we came from the mud, we're coming out of the mud, and one way how I perceived how I got to where I'm at is not necessarily bright ideas and right decisions. It's always been an anchor system, like, man, that's my guy. He, growing up when I was coming out of high school, like, that's my guy. He has a full-time job. He's loyal to that job. That's somebody I aspire to be, and then I anchored my way off of him. Like, yo, I want to get to a point where my life emulates a similar structure to that. Then from there I was like, oh shit, well, damn, that guy's, works at the news station, or that guy does media. And then, well, I like media, so let me try to get to where he's at, and that's, like you said, it's our responsibility to provide anchors, because most of these kids are coming out of the mud just like we did. And they might be coming out of not saying that we had all the resources, but they might be coming out of situations that are far worse than us, because their parents were probably lost. Now they have no one to use as an example. I had examples, even if they were very vague and in the distance, but at least I was able to develop a system to where, they might be vague and in the distance, but I got to work my way towards it. And if you have nothing to work towards, you're just stuck in what you know. So you're just repeating that cycle of, discourse, or that cycle of, like you said with your daughter, you can see your growth within her, but if somebody doesn't have any growth, then you can see that as well.
Yeah, no, I was blessed to, you know, have a good mom and dad all my life. They're still with me, you know, and it played a part in opening my mind to things and keeping an open mind. And that's why I'm so lost when young people don't have an open mind these days, to just try different things. I was one of the kids who tried everything. And maybe part of being mixed blessed me to explore those things, because, you know, I had the Latino Christmas, I had the Black Christmas, you know, I had the white Christmas, I had all that. And so in life, I just embrace it all. Like, even when you come hear me DJ, I play everything. I don't have a specific genre necessarily. You know, I try to play everything for everybody. And I've just always kept an open mind, even through college. You know, I just tried to explore. I explore Latino studies, African American studies, you know, just everything. And I really challenge the young people I work with to keep an open mind and try things, because they're surrounded by so many closed-minded people who are telling them they can't do this or they shouldn't do that, or you're wasting your time with that. It's just explore those things and educate yourself as much as possible. Become a well-rounded person, because that's the most value you can have in this world. You know, because if you travel somewhere without that, you're gonna be lost. You know, when I was 17, I think I went to Miami on my own for the first time. And not that I was this super independent person, or that I had it all together, but I really wanted to challenge myself, because I had traveled with others in groups, and I'm like, can I do this myself? So for my 18th birthday, I went to Miami and, you know, did it all myself for a few days or whatever, and it gave me the courage to realize that, you know, you don't always need people. Everything you need is right inside of you. What you can contribute to people is gonna make you better, and the people around you better. But you don't need them necessarily, you know, to be the best you are. And in order to be the best you are to them, you have to be the best you are first, even in a relationship. You know, I always tell people, you ever want to be happy in a relationship, fall in love with yourself first, because you will never be happy until you love yourself enough to know your standards and what you'll be able to put up with and what you won't. And it's like, you'll come to the table broken if you don't love yourself first. And then once you love yourself, the way the universe works is, you in your groove, everything good, I love myself, I don't need you. Here comes that perfect person that's like, makes you think, I might not want to throw this off. I'm in my groove right now. But they compliment you, because now you've opened the universe for a good person, because you love yourself. And that goes with most relationships, you know, be healthy in you first before you can
being
touch others.
With, you know, what your experience is in media, what your experience is here in Milwaukee, and everything that you have going on, what do you think is the best platform to present this train of thought to our youth here in the city? Because, you know, there's a plethora of people that you know, share very similar views and opinions, but they're so either doing their own thing. Is like, what do you think would be the platform to really make a difference?
All right, I give them two options out there. So one would be to create your own space or environment or center or community avenue for young people, whether it's in your home or close to you or whatever, right? You create it from the ground up, kind of like we did with Guns Down Milltown or Promote the Positive or the Peace Park and Garden. You know, we created these things grassroots from scratch. The other thing would be to partner with some of these people that are really doing great work with young people on a daily and putting together a professional program that they might even be interested in paying you for. So for instance, if you're a DJ, if you're on a radio station, maybe you have this space that young people can come to, and you want to say, hey, maybe once a week I can get some young people, put together a one-page proposal and present it to an organization like True School or Running Rebels or another. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to be very receptive to it, because they need opportunities for young people. Running Rebels has a huge facility, and they're filling up every corner with positive things, but I'm sure if you got something positive, they'll make some space for you. And really try to partner, because some people can't create things from scratch on their own, and that's fine. Partner and make it simple for yourself, and be professional and follow up and do everything you need to do in order to succeed and stop making excuses for yourself. So big excuses in small business. I'm not gonna start till I get my business card, or I'm not gonna start till I get my logo. No, start today. You know, you need those things. They're gonna help you, but right now you're just talking yourself out of things. Right. If you listen to people talk, 9 times out of 10, they'll give you 3 excuses why they can't do something before they tell you why they can't. Well, listen to people and think about that for a second. They'll come up to you and tell you a dream, something they have or want to do, a great idea. They'll probably give you 3 excuses why they can't before they give you 1 why they can. And so it's like changing that mentality of being proactive and putting your best foot forward in order to make things happen, rather than saying, I got this great idea, but I can't do that right now because, you know,
there's a million reasons to not do anything.
Yeah. Most people talk themselves out of something right away.
Yeah.
They'll talk themselves out of it right away. And I study communication. I study conflict resolution. So this is things that pop out to me when I listen to people. And I try to tell them, because I don't have much of a filter anymore these days. I'm like, you're bullshitting yourself. Get to work. Because otherwise you're just wasting time and breath and the reason you're here.
Yeah. And we're not guaranteed.
We're
not guaranteed tomorrow. We're not guaranteed to finish this conversation. You know,
right? Goodness, you know.
It's
I think an important thing is that people are just really scared to fail, and I think that's the most important thing that you can do in your life is fail, because it gives you the confidence that you're okay. It's like it's fine. You know, you get, like they say a lot of times, like you try to talk to a girl, so she rejects you. You say no. Look, you're still okay. You're still gonna move on with life. You just put that in every skill. Everything is, without failure, you're not trying. So if you're not failing, you're not giving it all.
Well, I'd say the road to success is paved with failure.
Yeah.
So in order to succeed, you're gonna have to fail, and especially if you're passionate about what you're doing. The key is trying to minimize those failures and try to move in a calculated manner. So when you fail, the next time you move, you don't fail again. Right?
The same way.
But the road to success is paved with failure. And on the other side of fear is your greatest opportunities. So as you said, most people are afraid to fail. That fear, what's on that other side, is what you've been dreaming about. And so
that's why everybody can't do it. That fear is so strong that most people don't try. They rather let me just go 9 to 5 every day. Never mind. I'm not going to try to be a singer. I'm just going to get this safe job, wake up every morning at 9, be sad, and not have any passion in my life because you're not expressing yourself creatively or doing something that you love.
And it's the things that you didn't do that are going to haunt you on your deathbed, not the things you did do. It's going to be the things you didn't do.
Who cares if you worked for a Fortune 500 company for 5 years,
right?
And you know,
and all you wanted to really do was be a great fisher.
Yeah.
But you always put that on side.
Hood rat friends.
Right. You always put that on the side.
Made that a small thing you did once a year.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, and going back to like financial stability and things like that, because obviously people don't have that.
Let's talk it.
Yeah, people don't always have that, but for the most part, what I've noticed is that, and a lot of people say this with money, like big people, Murdoch and everything like that, people in financial situations that are, way better off than everybody that I know practically. You can't hoard your money. Saving it and putting it, like you said, in a shoebox is not going to do anything for you. Yeah, you might leave money for your children or whatever, but that is not making money for you. And you need to learn how to make money for yourself.
Facts.
Yeah.
You gotta make your money make money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Especially, I come from a family who spent everything they had to provide for us, so there wasn't really much extra. And my family and many of our family didn't have the education or access to invest. And now that we do, I think that's double the responsibility for us to change that legacy in our families, to say, now, here, kid, I'm going to pass you on some Microsoft stock or something, something my family couldn't do for me. And so, that's I think that's super important right now. Saving your money and just sticking on it probably won't do much for you, but build your confidence and make you feel great. But Yeah, you got to try to find a way to make it work for you other than that little percentage they give you for keeping it in savings.
Yeah.
So stocks is a good way. Anybody interested in stocks, I always tell them to put together a ETF fund first, what they call an ETF fund, which is a safer bet. And now it's so easy, it's at your fingertips. I also have a podcast where I teach people about it. It's called Entrepreneur for Life.
Okay.
It's on GideonWebb.com. It's like a growth in progress or work in progress kind of thing. And then I do YouTube videos on how I got started, because I'm no expert or professional, but I feel like my journey is important because a lot of people were just like me, you know, making money, spending it, living check to check.
And you're more relatable.
Word.
You're more relatable than, you know, the suburban kid that's had it all.
Right.
Trying to teach you. Well, mom gave me $100 for some shoes and I reinvested it.
Yeah.
And now I got $6K. You know, it's different than a kid like, damn, well, I got $3. You know, now I saved up. I got $20 for lunch that I haven't used.
You'll be surprised
of
the opportunities you get. Even for the people, if you're working at a Fortune 500 or some company, you can ask your boss or the owners about stock plans and about investing in the company that you're working for. At least do that for yourself. If you do believe in who you're working for, then invest in the company, and then then you can wake up every day with the motivation. I'm really going to work for this company because I feel like I'm a part of it now.
Yeah, you know? I mean, and especially if you agree with the mission and you're aligned with it and everything like that. Most people, if they hate their job, they're probably not going to invest in it. But that opportunity is always there. I of course, don't ever invest. Well, since we're talking investing, we got to tell people don't invest more than you can spare to lose.
No.
Right? Always invest extra spending money.
Always pay your bills first. It should just be It should just be extra. All the extra money that you have that you're gonna waste anyways.
Exactly.
That's where
exactly.
So like if you quit smoking cigarettes, that money you already allocated for
Arizona
cigarettes.
iced tea money.
Right, or Starbucks money.
And there's programs like a company I invest with or use to invest called Acorns, where they round up your change and put it towards investment accounts. So if you buy a coffee for $1.20, that extra 80 cents will go into a saving and investment account automatically. And so you don't even think about investing, and you've invested $50 in extra change every month without even thinking about it. And so I recommend that one always. And since we're investing, I guess, we could talk about some of the things I invest in, but I always tell people to invest practical. And I look towards the future. So automated intelligence is something I invest heavily in. Companies that provide robots, essentially, for companies like Amazon and Walmart. It's a sad factor that machine is versus man at this point, and a lot of people are losing jobs because of it, but it's the wave. It's the inevitable. The other is marijuana. Medicinal and recreational
hemp,
and companies in Canada and the U.S. I also invest in solar energy and clean water. These are issues I believe it's a no-brainer. The world's going to have to deal with the clean water issue, the energy issue, and the companies that are poised to be on the front are the ones that are going to benefit in the next 5 to 10 years. I'm a long-term investor. I'm not one of these like short-term guys. I know guys who make money in the short term, but you got to be willing to watch the market. And so if you're not willing to watch the market, look for some safe long-term bets. I invest in some social media. I invest in a lot of technology apps and some gaming. I'm getting into the gaming a little bit, but again, I'm in the crypto space a little bit as well. So my goal is to just pass on a little something to my daughter, and be able to provide some financial stability for her, and like I said, shift that trajectory. Where my parents, they gave me a beautiful home and raised us and everything, but I literally spent every dime to make us happy and comfortable. So there wasn't much extra, and I want to provide a little extra and give back to them too. You know what I'm saying? It's financial freedom, at least my idea of financial freedom.
It's our version of the trust fund or the college fund. That people in the 60s, 70s were able to produce for their families,
leave pensions behind and things like that.
Like those things they don't exist anymore,
But it's just as valuable, again, to invest in yourself, because the return when you invest in your own business and yourself, it's greater than stocks and crypto, to be honest. And even from a financial standpoint, you know, like the hats you got on or the merchandise. When people, you know, come to your shops and they sell at the pop-up, the return they get from per product is probably more than I'm getting in stocks. You know, mine is a long-term game. There's might be a little more instant, but you know, in long-term business, that can be more growth. So I always tell people, consider yourself the next Walmart, the next Microsoft, the next Facebook, because if you invest in you, that you know, forget Facebook, you could be the next one.
Yeah, and you know what you're saying, invest in you, and we keep talking about this. I think you were with us once too, is your mental health, your physical
100%.
health. You know, it isn't just, you know, clothes and shoes and, you know, money, you know, make sure that you literally are taking care of yourself so that you are able to make good money and you're not sitting there and like, I know this sounds messed up, but you know, you kind of will be a burden to your children if you got to get a leg chopped off from diabetes because you didn't take care of that. You know, or something to that effect. If it was something because it happened, you were sick or whatever, I could understand that. But if you're not physically and mentally taking care of yourself, you're damaging the other generations with you as well.
It's a rough balance, you know, because we all have our vices and our issues. But yeah, I think that's a part of changing culture too, is to put health on the forefront. I want to shout out Shalina Ali. She has a program with young people called The Art of Coping, where she teaches them how to cope with trauma. And there are a few organizations, mostly ran by women in the community, doing positive things, teaching about wellness and health. And I actually just put a call out to my people in my immediate circle and said, we need somebody in here that's focused on fitness, that's getting us to the gym every week, that's getting us jogging to the lake. Because we can talk business, we can talk community stuff, but if we're not mentally healthy and just exercising and getting in the gym together, then we're missing that full, well-rounded.
How can you be at full capacity if you're not at full health?
You know, and we're all poisoned. Like we all, like I'm pretty sure I'm sitting around some pretty educated people, and you understand what I mean when I say that is the food we eat and the lifestyles we live and the air we breathe. We're all kind of walking around poisoned, so we got to balance that out with some self-love.
We got to detox ourselves.
Self-love is the best love.
I'm going to tell you, Gideon, because I've, you know, been with the radio station now since like last year, November. This is pretty awesome, and they've given me the opportunity. I'm really blessed. I need to give you my email because I would definitely love to talk to a lot of these organizations and bring them in and do interviews like this, you know. Or
I'd be happy to forward some good people.
Yes. We want to be able to, we talked about this yesterday, share with the community, be kind, rewind, like he said.
I love it.
And share with the community what we're doing, the good, you know, everything. So
that's what it's going to take. It's going to take that. And I know some great organizations that would love to talk to you guys and share their platforms and whatnot. So that's dope. And I think if you aren't doing it already, we should probably figure out like a way to get some youth in here to show them behind the scenes what's going on, what happens here, how they may be able to pursue careers in broadcast. Maybe a youth camp, a day where youth can just come and create their own podcast for a day.
You know, with that aspect, is like those are all goals that we want to do. But, and just like anything, you know, like also I think it's very important for young and the youth to understand that, we might be older, we might be the adults, but we still live a life, you know, and we still have hardships. And, you know, providing these platforms, like just because you have the idea doesn't mean that they appear. You know, it's a daily grind. Like what can you put to the side to really implement these things and what it really takes, you know, because those are aspirations. I would love to be to a point where we're all financially to a point where we're like, you know what, this month, we got a budget. Let's set up
and that's what I meant right there. You see that? He gave me a dream, and then he gave me a reason why.
Exactly.
You hear that?
And that's what I'm saying.
And it wasn't his fault. It's just as normal. I've listened and studied people for years, and as a photojournalist interviewing people, I listen too. Like, this is what happens, but you do have it. You have it right now. You have it, and it's not the money.
No.
It's not gonna, you know, the money is gonna help, but It's not that.
It's the action.
It's the action. It's
getting,
the time.
It's getting that mental block.
It's the you sitting down and saying, you know what? How are we going to do this? It's that quarterback in you that's waiting to come out and say, all right, let's move this here. Let's move this here. Let's put this play together. Right. Yeah. And that's just it. And I think we all got to get over that hump. And my girlfriend does it a lot, and I've helped her get better at it. I do it sometimes. But I catch myself, and then I realize now I got to really do it because it's in me, it's positive, and I put it in the universe, and I owe it to myself to do it because I don't want to be on my deathbed thinking about all the things I wanted to do that didn't. I'm trying to check them all off and do it.
I don't like blaming anything on anybody else but myself. Even if someone else did something to me, I tell it it's my fault.
That's good because you can't blame anyone but yourself. You shouldn't blame anyone but yourself most of the times for these things. I mean,
when people blame somebody else, they want to just take you. They want to take it off of themselves, the responsibility off of themselves.
Even when somebody steals from me, I usually blame myself. Someone I've trusted and gave an opportunity to and helped out, and then they steal from me, I usually blame myself. And I let go of that anger I have for them, but then I learn how to move around them and deal with them. But
so DMX said it too. Rest in peace, DMX. He said, trust somebody to be themselves. Don't trust somebody. Trust them to be themselves. Trust them to be who they are. So if a person is not consistent, you trust them to be not consistent. And
it also helps you let go of things and understand that it's just money or it's just issues. That maybe down the line you'll be friends again, but I'm not going to carry it with me. I'm not going to let it hamper my next relationship with someone who could be, twice as powerful and influential in my life.
So this is what we talked about yesterday, and I apologize for interrupting you.
No, you're
but so I'm a sexual assault survivor, child abuse and older. And let me tell you something. It took me saying, you know what? I'm hurt. It was terrible, but I forgive him, and I just want to move forward. To the point where it took me to pull myself out and say, you know what? You holding grudges, you being mean to people, other people that have nothing to do with it, you can't be that way. And it took me a minute, but this month actually too is Sexual Assault Survivor Month as well. We have Team Teal 365
I've
here.
seen that, yes.
They're pretty amazing, those people. It's mainly women, but they deal with sexual assault survivors and things like that in Denim Days here in Milwaukee. And I want to talk to them too and bring them in and just, there's that aspect of it too. Unfortunately, there's so many people walking around with, abuse and trauma from a parent or a guardian, a loved one, family. And, you got to move forward. You got to kind of clear that from yourself. Right.
How you find the courage to forgive in those instances, I totally can't relate to because I haven't experienced it. And so I wonder if I'll ever find the courage if something like that happens, because it's not easy. Like, it ain't just a light switch you can turn off and forget. That's also something I think we got to educate young people on is how to let go, or not necessarily let go, but coping.
Move on.
The coping.
The coping is the word, because everybody's coping is different.
Right.
And their timing is different on how they cope and the way they deal with it, but it's a necessary part of it. And so, we got to promote more opportunities for young people to deal with that as well.
Right. And I think that's something, because if you can, and I know this is, it's all sad because, it's very personal to me too, but I wish it could have been nipped in the bud on how I felt so that I didn't carry so much pain and, just anger and everything with me for years, and then, like I said, it wasn't until when I was 25, I finally said, you know what, I'm just going to live better. I'm going to do better, and I don't care. And I forgive these people in my life. And you know what? I see one of the people quite a bit, and I still love them, and I've forgiven them. Because I was only holding myself back from being, moving forward, from being hateful and just blaming the world, instead of just being you know what, it happened, let's move forward, and that's it.
But then there's that last part is how you can teach someone else who may be going through that, how you accomplish that feat. You know what I mean? Because And you might not want to because it might bring up more, memories or whatever. But I think that's the last part is like that conclusion is like, now that I've gone through this, how do I show another person how to go through this? Because that could save their life. That could save their trauma, or at least give them an out to dealing with those things. And especially for young girls, it's so necessary because, like I said, you guys deal with so much. Women deal with so much that we don't have to. And as men,
there's men that
we
get
do
that too. Yeah,
but I'm not saying in that sense. But the fact that there's so much pressure for women, and especially young women, to hide those feelings, or to not deal with them, or to just keep looking pretty and not be who you want to be. You know what I'm saying? And I'm learning. I grew up around all boys, like I said, all brothers, and so I am learning, and it's beautiful.
And now it's just worrying about being an Instagram model now. That's all they care about. It's like,
well,
you can be yourself, and you can be a strong, educated woman, and be just as influential and to other people.
Yeah, I mean, I just, for me, I would just have to say it took, again, a lot, but you just, I don't know how to explain that. I just moved forward. I literally pulled myself out and was like, I don't want addiction from this. Because they say you could be two ways, which is kind of weird. Bananas is when you get sexually abused or assaulted, you could become a very just out there person. You can sleep with everybody, do whatever, not care.
Right.
Or you could internalize and shut down and just be like, scared of life.
Don't even want people to touch you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I found, and I'm just gonna say I found a middle because I went through both of them when I was younger. I went through both, and now I'm like, you know what? I'm finding a middle ground to be comfortable with myself and happy, for me. And I've actually wanted to talk about this with women and, men. Men go through too, quite a bit.
We do. But in terms of what women go through, sometimes we just got to listen. And men, we've been generalizing women all of our life. We just think they fit in this one box. And they don't. They're all kind of different women. You know what I mean? They're just different. And we always try to put them in a box and say they have to be this way, or they're all this way, they're this way. Sometimes we just got to listen and learn. You know what I mean? Because we have no fucking clue. So in order to learn, you got to listen. And I think that's what we got to be better at as men, in order to just be supportive of who women are and what they're going through. And then we'll better understand you guys. And then we might have an opinion when we understand it. But until then, we just got to listen. So that's what I try to do a lot with my daughter and the women I work with. But I think the calling is, how can we create something for young people dealing with these struggles now when it comes to sexuality or sexual abuse, and in a way give back,
Create a comfortable environment for them to be open or feel free or feel not judged. Yeah. So probably a lot of
podcasts to talk about it.
Right? A lot of people don't, or maybe they feel like scared or nervous or embarrassed to talk about things like that. But a lot of people want to hear those things they're going through it. They don't want to speak about it. So one voice speaking about it can help 10, 20, 30 people.
100%. I believe that. 100%. 100%.
Just make them not feel alone.
And it's not just sexual abuse too, because you live through your parents' alcoholism and drug use. You live through that.
Absolutely.
So I think there definitely needs to be something more for the youth in that respect as well. Like we said, coping, but coping through it all, coping through the sexuality part of it, the abuse, the trauma of seeing your family being like domestic violence in front of you. Like there is just so many things that we could touch on to help our youth to move forward and not stay stuck, like thinking that this is the way life has to be.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing we can do is let them know we're here. So we all have young people in our family. If you're not checking on them every week, call them. Maybe it's your brother's son. Maybe it's your,
Just say I'm here.
Yeah, right? Just reach out. Hey man, how you been? You need a ride or anything? Call me. We missing that, and young girls need it too. It's not just the young boys. A lot of times when we talk about addressing these issues, we just deal with the young boys because they seem so wild. But young girls have issues too, and we got to provide a platform for them to express themselves and participate in the process. Because if we just educate all the young women about sexual violence or sexual abuse, and then we got all these boys that don't understand the young women and what they went through, then it ain't gonna help. So we got to bring them to the table either separately or together and say, look, this is how these young girls feel when you're making these jokes.
Like you said, balance.
Yes.
You know, balance in all aspects.
Yes, and thinking about that, and anybody who's out there listening and is sitting at home, like, and they have this passion of giving back to the young people, I just challenge them to create it.
Yeah.
Make it happen. Start with the young people in your block. Start with the young people in your family, and reach out, because there are organizations who will support you and who'll be there for you, and will help you through that process. Yeah. And I'm one of them.
If you have an idea, you just go for it. You don't just like you were saying, you don't need to come up with all these excuses not to do it. You don't think you're good enough for it. You came up with the idea, so obviously you have something to contribute to the table.
Yeah. You don't need an LLC to start a business. You don't need a 501c3 to give back to the community.
You just need to try.
Go do it. The value is in the feeling you're gonna get when you've created something that someone can latch onto, or something someone can buy at a pop-up shop. There's your value. And Uncle Sam can kiss my ass, for the record.
Right.
It's the least he can do.
Not my real Uncle Sam. The other one.
Top hat wearer.
There you go.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. I'm happy you came out finally, because he was saying that you were going to be here yesterday, and then you're like, I double booked myself, because you're a constant busy person. So to get you for a few hours,
and
this is invaluable, I'm sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, big shout out to the 3Ps team. They're right now cleaning up on 28th and Brown. So I know they were planning on listening in while they're cleaning up. So I just want to shout them out. They got volunteers together. Yeah. And I drove around that neighborhood, and I'm telling you, it needs it. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I look forward to the opportunity. Obviously we got to sit down and have a conversation, but I definitely look forward to the possibilities.
Yeah, I'm a phone call away, man. If you, my motto this year is, if I think about you, I'm gonna call you.
Yeah.
And so I call a lot of people every day lately, and I just check on them or reach out to them, and I want people to, reach out to me the same way. And if you can't reach me by phone, you can text me all over social media at Gideon029. My email is Gideon029@gmail. My website is GideonWebb.com. And, I get back to people as soon as I can. I try to be a person who's like on top of everything, even though I'm doing a lot. So I'll get back to you ASAP, most definitely.
That's great.
That's dope. I don't know. I myself, and I'm happy we had this conversation,
What are people saying up there? My eyes aren't that good. What was said?
David Salazar said, North 107th, Brown Deer, the Ghetto Meadows, also 13th
Shout out
and
to the
Hayes.
Meadows.
Representing,
Shout out to the Meadows.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
And then Brenda said, I would love to see what $5 a month could grow into on Wall Street.
You'd be surprised.
You would be surprised. I changed my whole financial directory with $5 a month.
Yeah.
Straight up.
And if anybody's intimidated by thinking about investing in cryptocurrency or anything, if you have a PayPal account, or if you have a Cash App or something, they offer those things to you.
Yeah.
If you want to if you have $3-4 just left over in your account, just buy something.
Yeah, the key to getting into it is just to jump off the cliff and do it. And then once you do it, make smart. It's fun for me too. I thought about it. The way I tricked my brain into being an investor was to think about it like a game.
Yep.
Because I used to like playing mobile games and watching my numbers grow. So that's how I tricked myself when I'm playing with stocks and buying stocks, is the numbers, they attract me. So I'm like, I'm really into fantasy football, so I kind of put that aspect to it. I'm a little bit. I don't do much day trading, but with that aspect, I do like sports card. I buy and sell sports cards.
And I do like some for the NFTs things. You ever heard of like NBA Top Shot? I do that, just stuff like that. So I kind of put like a fantasy aspect to it, where
so you don't take it so serious because it's money. You could take it real serious if you lose $1,000 a day on the stock exchange. But the fact of the matter is, if you're a long-term investor, you don't want to be stressed out every day.
And I'm in love with the sport, so I would just be doing that anyways. I just told myself I might as well just do it something where it's gonna make me money.
You created your own FanDuel.
The cryptocurrency that I'm currently on, because I like what they stand by, is Pi.
Okay.
And I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, but they do. So when you mine, it takes like, let's say a small country of energy to mine, some cryptocurrency.
Yeah, these mining facilities are huge.
It's bananas. So the Pi one is self-sustaining. They literally are trying to they have their buildings basically a solar panels and so. Where
do you purchase Pi? On which exchange?
Which app? I have the Pi app.
Oh, there's an app.
So there is an app, and I mine with my family and stuff like that.
I do most of my stuff on like Coinbase.
Okay.
It's like the Coinbase wallet. You buy like Ethereum and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's gonna be turning into like Black Mirror. I don't know if you guys seen that.
We're gonna be out there like Pokemon Go,
our
man.
Bikes. We're riding our bikes to power that up,
But that's the thing with crypto. It's definitely the future. Be careful.
Right.
There's so many out there. I got in on Dogecoin really early. Really early, and so I'm really happy with that, honestly. And I got some friends who are like from the hood who I got in early, and they're like guys who don't know shit about crypto, but now they're all making money, and they're like, and I'm so happy. Like, one of my homeboys gonna be able to buy a house off of Dogecoin if he wanted to.
When last year you felt like you don't know what you saw for his future, and all of a sudden you're like, something I told him, I can see him prosper.
Yeah, he's gonna prosper, and he's holding. So hopefully it's only going up.
If you're investing is being disciplined and knowing when knowing the stock market and knowing when things are down and stuff like that, where you can't hesitate, you can't be scared of losing money. If you love a company, or if you believe in something, you have to invest in the long term.
There's that, and then there's also the mind that to take it all out, to take all the emotion out, take the love, passion that you feel for these companies, because it's really out of your control, right? It's out of your control. Anything, it's just a bet, right? It's anything can happen. So
America could crash tomorrow.
And then so you do everything you can to line up the chips in your favor. Like, I research who the CEO is now if I'm investing in a company. I'll research their record. I try to invest in things that I'm aligned with morally, but it's like, at the end of the day, I don't know what's going to happen. You're just hoping for some good bets, trying to make some good decisions, especially in the crypto world. It's the most volatile place you can be in by far when it comes to investing. It's super volatile. And
there's so many, it's super, right now it's just crazy. Every day there's a point. So
I've made a decision that I'm just going to be a long-term investor, and when I pull out, I'm going to pull out and not look back kind of vibe. And just hope I made some good investments.
A profit is a profit. A lot of people think about investing is if they run their course and they feel like they can take out their money or use that money to something else for them. A profit is a profit, and you don't have to worry about what happens after that. If if something goes crazy after that,
it's like a breakup. It's like a breakup.
What did you do? What you do with that money before?
And people get I found myself getting really attached to companies that I researched, learned about, and I'm thinking they're a part of me, but the fact of the matter is they're not. They email me investor stuff and whatnot, but I've never been to the facility. I don't know CEO personally. I had to detach myself and say, you know what, let me be a little smart. This is up 200%. It might have to just pull out. Just pull out and forget about it.
Use it for something else. If you have a game plan for it, it's one thing taking it out and then just wasting it all on what I would buy Uber Eats and shit. It's
another thing to invest in Uber Eats. Invest in the actual company.
All right, Gideon. Before we head out, do you want to say shout out outs to anybody here?
Yeah, shout out to the whole VIP MKE crew. Shout out to the Eclectic Models and the Eclectic crew. Make sure y'all show up to the fashion show. It's going to be early, 9 o'clock next Thursday at Freight 38.
Yes.
The Eclectic Fashion Show. Shout out to my girl, Tasia Red, who makes me everything I am. I love you. Of course, shout out to my daughter. And, get up that math grade, honey. And shout out to my homeboy Rico Legend. Shout out to Club Timbuktu. Shout out to everybody who was out there, the Guns Down Milltown family.
Guns Down Milltown.
Yep, y'all got a countdown on the shout out because I got more.
We literally got like a minute. We're done.
But thank you, everybody. Thank you guys, for real. I appreciate it.
Thank you for taking the time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know the routine. This has been the Method Lab, and we are out.
Peace.
If this works.
The METHOD Lab.